Whether you choose to do something or nothing, the time will pass regardless. Almost 900 years ago, St. Maher said it in this way: time waits for no one. In the song, Fly Like an Eagle, the lyricist writes, time keeps on slipping into the future. Time passes. You can't stop it. And it's vital that you keep that uppermost in your mind, because whether you do something or nothing, the time will pass regardless. How will you use that time? Will you use it to pursue a dream? Or will you give up on the dream because you think that it's taking too long? Earl Nightingale, perhaps the most influential publisher of personal development materials, once had this to say: never give up a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. Never give up on your dream. And then he tells us why. The time will pass anyway. Think about that for a moment. The time will pass anyway. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and 24 hours in a day. Every 4 years, there's an extra day in the year. All of the others have only 365. And if you want to be exact, then you'll know that the last leap second was added at the end of 2016. But it was only 1 second, less time than it took for me to say so. You can't add or subtract time, and that means that you can't save it either. That's why what is known as daylight saving time is about as logical as cutting a foot of material off the end of a blanket and then sewing it back on the other. Repositioning the clocks, which is what daylight saving time is intended to do, repositioning the clocks according to the rising and setting of the sun only makes sense in the higher latitudes, where the winter days are much less than 8 hours long. There it helps because it makes your normal work hours correspond more closely with the time when the sun is up. But no matter, whether the sun is up or down, you can only accomplish what you want to do in the time you have. You can't add to it. Think back. What were you doing a year ago? What dreams did you have? What plans did you make? And what progress was the result? The time passed regardless, didn't it? It didn't wait for you. It didn't wait for you to finish that task that took longer than you expected. It didn't wait because you got interrupted and had to do something else instead. The sands of time continued to sink, to fall through the hourglass. If a year ago you knew that you'd be where you are today, would you have dreamed different dreams? Would you have set different goals? Would you have made other plans? Now think back 6 months. What dreams did you have then? What goals did you set and what plans did you make? Did you do the work that you had decided to do? Did you get the results that you expected? Now think back 3 months ago, the length of a season. If you knew then that you were going to be where you are now, what would you have done differently? The time will pass regardless. It will pass no matter what you do or don't do. Now I want you to think ahead. 3 months from now is the same amount of time as 3 months ago. What have you learned? What dreams do you have? Whatever they are, make them massively bigger. Don't dream about what you think you can do. Instead, dream about something that's so big that it's scary. In order to make progress towards those dreams, you need big goals. What big goals would you need to set to make those big dreams a reality? And what big plans would you need to make to reach those goals? It's said that you should eat an elephant one bite at a time, but what you really need to do is to think in terms of feeding a herd to a city. When you think on that scale, your entire outlook changes. It changes from a small barbecue to overcoming famine. When you think on a much bigger scale, then you stop trying to make incremental progress. Let me say that again. When you think on a much bigger scale, then you stop trying to make incremental progress. If you want to inch along and be pretty much where you are now in 90 days, then set small goals, ones that you think you can reach. then you'll only have to do a little each day to reach them. But if you want to make a lot of progress, then set big goals. Goals that are bigger than anything you think is possible for you. The time will pass regardless. Why not swing for the fences? Why not go after your biggest dreams? This may surprise you, but in some ways, the goal isn't to reach that big dream. However nice it would be to reach it, doing so is not why you make it. Instead, you make it so that it will get you out of the mindset that says you only need to do a little bit each day to reach it. If your dream was to earn $50,000 in 90 days, then you'd think on a very different level than if your goal was to earn $5 in the same amount of time. Or if your goal was to visit all 63 national parks in the United States this summer, then you'd think on a different level than if you decided to visit them all by this time next year. The power of big dreams, big goals, and big plans comes from the amount of effort that's required to realize them. When you create your big dreams, goals, and plans, if instead of 90 days, you decided to make the time scale longer, say 6 months, then don't let yourself off the hook. More time means even bigger dreams, goals, and plans. Maybe you're thinking in terms of a year. A year is a lot of time. You can do a lot in a year, and if you go all in, you'll accomplish more than you thought possible. But the danger of thinking about a year is that it seems like such a long way off, and that makes it easy to assume that you'll have no trouble reaching your dreams, no matter how big they are. That's why shorter time periods are better. They force you to think about what you have to do right now. The thing is that because we live in a society where things happen instantly, in real time, we also expect our dreams to be fulfilled just as fast. If it was that easy, then everyone would be doing it. But it's not easy, which is why most people won't do it. They won't do it because they expect quick results. When they don't get them, then they give up, or they slow down so they can consider other options. And that's a shame, because the time will pass regardless. It'll pass whether you succeed at this thing, start afresh, or something else, or even do nothing. If you stay with it, then each day you'll be a little bit closer, and at the end of the coming year, you'll be 365 days closer to achieving your dream than you are today. If you give up, then the time will pass regardless, and you'll be no further forward than you are now. What dreams have you given up because you thought that they were taking too long? What goals have you abandoned because you couldn't reach them quickly? And what plans did you change because you never seemed to get any closer to what you wanted to do? Leave your comments below. Please like this video if you found value in it, and subscribe to this channel. I'm Dr. Bruce Hoag.